Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 11 of Bloomington Buddies. Unfortunately, no video. Somebody else has the video booth, so we are in the audio-only booth, but we will make it work. Trust me. You'll still have a good show to enjoy, as always. Please welcome Producer Jackson, best in the business.
Thank you very much.
I don't know who's going to produce this next year.
We were just talking about that, actually.
But they're not going to be as good no matter who it is, which is just disappointing. Anyway,
third year, third co-host at that point.
third year. So, yeah, possibly, shout out Sam Ryan, current Ball State student. Hopefully next year, IU student, because he's talking about transferring. He would be the new Eddie. Or
He'd be the new Eddie.
The new Eddie. So I've known Sam since middle school, like 5th grade. So we would have
he'll be perfect.
a lot of banter, and just it would be a great show if he transfers here.
Does he disagree with you as much as Eddie does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as Eddie. Eddie will disagree with me just for the sake of disagreeing with me. So
that's fair. I remember there were some episodes where he would just disagree just to piss you off.
I'm like, okay. Anyway, let's talk about the actual. Let's actually talk about sports. IU basketball and football are actually playing well. Let's start with football because that happened further back. IU won a game. They beat Wisconsin 20-14. You know, the team showed a lot of grit. They did. Just a complete team win, gritty win over a winning Wisconsin team. I don't know if you watched the game or not, but I was at the game and they looked really good, man. Great win. Great win.
I've been hearing a lot of the opposite. I'm going to be totally honest.
From football?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm on the different topic. I'm looking at IU basketball right now. I apologize. Yeah, IU football is...
We can talk
that shows how great of a co-host I am.
We'll talk about basketball here in a minute.
Yeah, in terms of football, yeah, I did see the game. I saw a lot of the highlights after the fact because I'm going to be honest, I thought we were getting absolutely steamrolled.
I did. Everyone there did.
Everyone did, you know. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. And like all typical IU fans, like, you know, Barstool, IU, every single IU fan is now being like, oh, never had a doubt in you, Allen, you know. You're best coach in the Big Ten, you know, and like a lot of it was jokes, you know, but like there were some people where you could tell like it was not a joke for them, and they're like, "Oh, IU's back, we're going for a bowl game, baby," and it's like we still got to win 3 games in a row. Yeah. I don't remember the last time IU won 3 games in a row. So
for the game itself, I will say, at least for this game, Brennan Sorsby got that dog in him. He played, I thought, a really good game. 19 of 30. Here's the
got that dog in him.
They really piggybacked off the fact that they almost beat Penn State. You could tell they came into this game at least with an attitude.
Yeah.
The defense, especially, I know Wisconsin was without Braylon Allen, but like they held Wisconsin to like under 100 rushing yards, I think. They just played a complete defensive game. Wisconsin couldn't get the ball moving at all. And, you know, they come out with a win against a winning team. I don't think they beat a team with a winning record last year. No, they beat Illinois like the first week. But here's the thing. Their last 3 games, are Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue. I think you can make an argument that IU is better than all 3 of those teams.
We had a quick, like, back and forth before recording, and I should have saved it for recording and everything, because we were talking about these games, and it's like, Quincy was getting all hyped up. He was just like,
I'm not saying they
we
will.
can definitely do it. We can definitely do it. We're playing 3 terrible teams. And I'm like, we're terrible.
We're also bad.
We're also bad. We've only won 3 games.
Well, Michigan State won their first Big Ten game also against Nebraska this past week.
I'm not as high on our guys right now to pull off the sweep and potentially pull off a bowl game. I'm not as high on it. I know Illinois, like, they're bad. But, you know, they've still got some fight in them. You know, they're still pretty good. I mean, well, I shouldn't say pretty good. They're 4-5, you know. But like I said, I'm not as high on them. Illinois is definitely going to be the most challenging one because Indiana's on the road and everything. So that one's going to be the most difficult one for them to pull off. Second one, obviously, is the Purdue game. I mean, it's anyone's game at that point for that one. So, I mean, it's really it's really just a coin flip at that point because both Indiana and Purdue were just so bad this year.
Purdue's
that's like
2-7. They have the worst overall record out of any team in the Big Ten.
Damn, seriously, I thought they were better than that. I thought they were the same record as us. Damn,
They were until this past week.
okay, but yeah, it's. I don't see us doing it personally. I really don't, just because I know Tom Allen, and so I'm not holding out hope for a bowl game at all.
I think we should just appreciate this game for what it is. For the people that were at the game, we had a grand time. I thought we were going to rush the field.
If it happens, more
We didn't,
power.
but I thought we were going to.
We do not deserve to rush the field at all in this game if we beat Wisconsin.
I thought we were going to, and I was like talking about taking a pylon.
I can't imagine the amount of shit that Indiana would have gotten from other colleges if we had rushed the field after that win. It's like, oh, congratulations, you're 3-6.
I mean, there have been like what? Didn't UMass rush the field after their first win when they were like 0-9 or something? And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I thought we were going to just appreciate this game for what it is. You beat a good team.
That's one situation where it's like, oh, I never thought we would ever win a game, and we did. Yay, congratulations. But like for this, it's like we've won some games, but against some really bad teams. So the fact that like we're rushing the field for a 3-6 win. Again, this is all hypothetical. We've been doing a lot of hypotheticals the past few weeks. But yeah, I can't imagine the amount of shit that IU fans would have gotten.
Another thing too is I think Tom Allen kept his job with this win.
I really hope that he didn't, because if he remains the head coach of this program, I'm glad I'm graduating at the end of this semester because I can't stand to watch this football team play anymore.
I think this
such
game,
a bad coach and the most overrated coach, most overpaid coach in the history of college football.
I think this win keeps him his job.
I
Because
really
they're
hope.
gonna be like,
I can't imagine. There's a small part of me that thinks that you're right, but I can't tell you how much inside of me really hopes that you're wrong on that.
At Illinois next week. It's on the list of games for picks. We'll talk about that later. Now it's time to talk about IU basketball. Now, the attitude with which people here talk about IU basketball compared to IU football,
drastically different.
IU football, they lose. It's like, oh well. Basketball, they lose and the sky is falling and oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Because we have nothing else at that point.
Because we have nothing else.
Like we are the basketball school in Indiana.
We are the basketball school like in the Midwest.
In the Midwest,
besides like if you're counting Kansas as Midwest.
Yeah.
I would count Kansas.
So
as
I mean,
Midwest.
it's a huge reputation to live up to, and if they don't do it, a lot of.
So there were a lot of question marks surrounding this team going into the year. Some good, some bad. And they got their first chance to showcase what they actually had. They had some preseason games. They looked like dog shit in their first preseason game. They looked really good in their second preseason game against Marion. This is their first actual game against Florida Gulf Coast. I'm going to start out very quickly and say that Florida Gulf Coast is actually not as bad of a team as most people think. I'm not trying to say that they're going to like run the table or anything, but this is a team that had a winning record last year, has everyone back. They run a modern style offense. Like, this is a team that knows how to play. This is a team that has made the tournament consistently every other year, past few years. This is not a pushover team. So the game I'll take you through the course of the game, and then we'll get into stats. I've looked at the box score for this game more than I would like to admit. So game starts out, and IU has a lead, pretty much like a 4, 5, 6 point lead the whole first half. But Florida Gulf Coast is kind of keeping pace, and I'm like, all right, they're going to go on a run in the second half. Second half comes, and it's more the same. IU still has the lead, and all of a sudden, Florida Gulf Coast goes on an 8-0 run and takes a 6-point lead with 10 minutes to go in the game. And I'm sitting around going, what the hell are we doing? And so Woodson calls a timeout. Out of the timeout, 10-0 run. 10-0 run out of the timeout. Crowd's getting into it. They go on the run that we've been waiting for this whole game. They get up to a 10-point lead with 1:28. And the guy that I went to the game with goes, hey, do we want to head out now so we're not like in a mass, or do we want to head out now? Game's pretty much over. I go, no, we got to stay for the last 2 minutes. I'm like, we're not leaving early. We got to stay for the last 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes, Oof, Marone. That was an awful, awful last minute and a half. Holy cow. So, Florida Gulf Coast, I use up by 10. Florida Gulf Coast drains a 3 to at least preserve some life in the game. Like, if they don't make that 3, so that 3 gives them some life. Okay. IU comes down, I think made 1 of 2 from the line or something. They're up by 8. Florida Gulf Coast makes a 3. IU turns it over. Florida Gulf Coast gets it. They drain another 3. They're now down. They're now down 4. IU turns it over again. They had back-to-back turnovers against the press. Florida Gulf Coast gets another wide open 3 to cut the game to 1. And I'm like, I've seen this happen too many times. I'm like, he's drilling this 3. He misses it. Thank God. Eventually, it comes down to a 3-point game with like 20 seconds left. Florida Gulf Coast gets a 3 for the tie, and they miss. So IU gets the win by 6 eventually after some free throws and wrapping it up. With 4 seconds, I'm like, dude, I wish we would have left with a minute and a half left. I wish I did not have to see that.
Yeah.
I wish I did not have to see that. Ultimately, they get the win.
Because you look at that, and then it's like, okay, our guys, like, you know, were able to put up a few more baskets, you know, they were able to take back a little bit of the lead, you know, but then it was like, it was no big deal. But, like, in the moment, you're having a heart attack, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm like, we were up by 10 30 seconds ago, and now they have a 3 to tie. Okay, overall things that were good and bad about the game. The good, Khalil Ware. I'm very pleased with the way Khalil Ware played. He wasn't the leading scorer. Galloway was the leading scorer with 16.
Double-double.
Khalil Ware, 13, 12, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He was doing it all out there.
I think you need to go back 12 rebounds. Like, that's kind of insane.
He's
compared to everybody else?
Yeah. The next highest rebound getters were Galloway, Johnson, and Anthony Walker with 4. So I'm very happy with the way Khalil Ware played because I thought he was the biggest question mark going into this year. Yeah,
definitely.
He's 7'2", but he doesn't have a work ethic. He doesn't this. The work ethic's there. This is a guy that is actually trying to win games and is going to be a stud this year. I think he's going to be a walking double-double this year.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy with the way Khalil Ware played. Second piece of the good, Gabe Cupps. Only finished with 5 points in 19 minutes. So here's what ended up happening. First half, IU I thought was great defensively. Overall defense was great. Second half, Florida Gulf Coast wasn't even looking for 2-point shots. They were looking to shoot the 3 every possession, pretty much every possession. And IU was doing a decent job of defending it against 3. But to start the second half, they were swinging the ball, passes here, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And they were getting open looks, and they were making their open looks. And that was part of the reason they got out to that lead midway through the half. So Woodson decides to roll out 3 guards, Galloway, Johnson, Cupps. Those are 3 guys that are all very good defenders. Those are 3 people that I think are great perimeter defenders. Because originally Anthony Walker was in the game, and Anthony Walker is a guy that I have said that I liked and that I think is going to do good things. He was getting cooked in the second half. It looked like he was lost on the court like every possession. Every possession it was his man getting open or Johnson had to suck onto his man and then they had another guy open. They had to get him off the court, man, because those are the only 3 guys that can defend the perimeter. And then they locked up the perimeter from like 8 minutes to a minute. There was like a 9-minute stretch where they were hounding Florida Gulf Coast's guards. So those are 2 things that I thought they did really well. Gabe Cupps, just a ton of grit. Just he will have your daughter home by 9. Just he plays the game the right way. Bring a lunch pail to work type of guy. He is the embodiment of Indiana basketball. Big fan of Gabe Cupps.
I don't know how else to follow that up right there with just like, because I feel like the words gritty and having your daughter home by 9 are very opposing things. They're very opposing things, and I'm not sure what you were going with.
My friend made a meme.
Fantastic.
It was just Gabe Cup smiling, and it says, "I'll have her home by 9, sir."
Oh my god,
this is what I'm talking about.
Oh my god,
because Gabe Cups looks like he's 6. He looks like he's 16, but he played a very good game defensively and hit a big 3 to extend the lead near the end of the game. Big fan of Gabe Cups. Okay.
Biggest thing I'm surprised by, sorry if I cut you off. I mean, Trey Galloway leading the pack in points.
Well,
that was not on my bingo sheet, if I'm going to be honest.
The pack was very even, though. Like, Galloway was 16, Renew with 15.
Yeah, it's not like he had, like, a wide margin of points more, but it was just, just an observation because, he wasn't, I mean, he got a lot of playing time last year, obviously, but he was kind of our 6th man, and so it was like, kind of the afterthought of the team, and now he's leading the team in points.
All right, so we've talked about the good. We got to talk about the bad. Okay, Mackenzie Mbako played 14 minutes in the first half. 14 of the 20 minutes in the first half. And he did not look good.
No.
At all.
No.
2 of 6 shooting on the game, 0 of 2 from 3. The shot selection, I'm like, what are we doing out here, man? What are we doing? And the great Bobby Knight once said, rest in peace, the greatest motivator out of anything is your ass on the bench. Mackenzie Mbako played 4 minutes the second half of the game.
Yeah.
And I was looking on the bench, he looked pissed to be on that bench.
I'm sure Woodson was kind of concocting that plan in honor of Bobby Knight. It feels like, because everyone's been dedicating this season to Bobby Knight now that he passed. So I'm sure it was probably something that kind of came into Woodson's mind. It's like, okay, let's give him some motivation for next time.
He did not look good when he played, and Woodson's like, all right, get Gabe Cups in there. Gabe Cups played 19 minutes, and Mbako played 18 minutes. So
I have 19 for both, but either way.
Okay. They played about the same when people didn't think Gabe Cups was going to be gaining significant minutes. Renew looked he was pretty efficient when he actually was taking shots. There were some times though where I'm like, there's a guy wide open for 3 and you're just going to take it through 2 people. Okay. Renew I thought looked all right. Xavier Johnson, 14 points. Your point guard, your starting point guard, should not have 1 assist. That is something that I think needs to be improved upon.
Yeah.
Your leading assist getter should not also be your leading rebounder and leading in blocks and leading in steals, which was Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware had 4 assists. The offense cannot run solely through him. It's got to run through X, and he's got to pass the ball better and get more efficient looks. 3-point, there were 4 of 13. Not very good from 3. Khalil Ware went 1 for 3. Galloway 1 for 3. Johnson 1 for 2. Cups 1 for 2. The 3 got to be a little bit better from 3. My biggest complaint, though, with this game, 19 of 30 from the free throw line. I was about to tear all the hair follicles out of my scalp when it came to the free throw shooting. Because what was funny, if you go to team stats, Florida Gulf Coast shot the ball 60. They had 62 field goal attempts. IU had 45 field goal attempts. Where are all those other field goal attempts coming? They're coming from free throws because Florida Gulf Coast could not really guard IU in the paint. So they're like, all right, if they're going to the paint, just foul them. Because Florida Gulf Coast, their big men aren't really up to the same caliber. If you're going to play that way, because Woodson said this team is going to be a team that is not going to shoot a ton of threes. They're going to get to the rim, be a more lengthier kind of team. If you're going to be that type of team, which is what they're probably going to have to do to win games, if you're going to be that type of team, you have to make free throws because you're going to be going to the line a lot. You're going to be in the bonus. That's part of the game. You got to be shooting better than 63% from the line. I need at least 75. I need at bare minimum 75% for my sanity.
Like, I mean, they're called free throws for a reason.
You're D1 athletes.
Yeah.
You're getting paid. Like, there's NIL money coming your way. Make your damn free throws. That is something that was really pissing me off. But ultimately, they found a way to win the game instead of finding a way to lose the game like Michigan State, who lost to James Madison. I'll let you wrap up about IU if you have any more thoughts.
No, yeah. Overall, I mean, it was an okay game. You know, I was hearing a lot of less than stellar talk about this game coming into class today and everything. But yeah, I think we can chalk this one up mostly. You know, like you said, they got the job done. They didn't find a way to lose, like you said. And I mean, really, you know, we could probably just chalk this up to, you know, the team's still finding their chemistry and everything. It's the first game of the year, the first actual game of the year, you know, with this new team in front of a home crowd and everything, you know. So a lot of the pressure's on, you know, we have transfers coming in, you know. So it's really just all about finding that team chemistry, still trying to find the definitive leader of this team and everything. So I wouldn't be too worried about this game. I think it's just something that we have to see going forward, like how it's going to pan out, you know? I mean, that's really all we can do at this point. So
I'm going to need to see some improvement these next two games. Their next two games are Sunday against Army.
Yep.
And next Thursday, against Wright State. And then after that,
that's when the competition starts coming in.
It's UConn, Harvard, Maryland, Michigan, Auburn, Kansas. That is a tough group of 6 games for out-of-conference play.
First 6 games of the season, we're at home, too. So, like, we have time to get comfortable with each other. We have time to get comfortable in front of our home crowd.
So the UConn game is in New York.
Is it in New York?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
because I just have it at Indiana.
It's a little 4-team tournament.
Yeah.
IU plays UConn, and then
That's right.
Texas plays Louisville.
That's right.
And then the winners play each other, and the losers play each other, which, by the way, Louisville damn near lost to UMBC, and Louisville won like 4 games last year. So if we play Louisville, we should probably annihilate them. But screw that.
One would hope.
I want to beat UConn and play Texas. But UConn's going to be tough. We'll see. They definitely have they got some work to do, but overall, they did win. We could talk about other college basketball scores. Did you watch any of the MSU James Madison game?
I didn't. I figured it was going to be a wash.
So I caught the end of that game. I'm like, oh, it's tied with like 5 minutes. Let me turn this on. Dude, I don't know what the hell happened. James Madison, by the way, was winning by James Madison got out to a 20-7 lead to start the game.
To start? Jesus.
And then Michigan State caught up by half. But still, Michigan State, there was a point in time where Tyson Walker scored like 12 points in a row in the fight. Like, he was the only person scoring for Michigan State. Listen to these point totals. Tyson Walker finished the game with 35. Their next highest was freshman Cohen Carr off the bench with 14, and no one else even got more than 10. A.J. Hogarth had 9. Akins had 4. Sissoko had 4. Malik Hall had 4. You gotta get more people involved, man. That was Michigan State's MO this year.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a deep team that's gonna hit you in multiple ways, and they can spread the scoring around? You got one guy scoring half your points. That was just disappointing. And James Madison had
Shout out to Tyson Walker.
Yeah, I feel bad for Tyson Walker. He's out there carrying the team by himself. James Madison had 2 players over 20, and they were passing the ball efficiently. They were sharing the rock. They were doing a lot of really good things, and ultimately, they come away with the win. I would be really concerned if I'm a Michigan State fan. Like, I get it's one game, but like, you got to play Duke in a week. In a week, we got to play Duke, and you can't even beat James Madison at home. Like, I would be incredibly concerned if I was Michigan State.
They got to do some catching up right now. I mean, they're lucky that it's not like college football playoff where, you know, you drop one to basically any unranked opponent, you're basically done, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be surprised if they're even ranked, because, like, how do you rank a team like that?
When did the new rankings come out? Or they already?
Monday would be the AP poll, so I guess.
Well,
then for basketball,
Or no, okay, yeah. So no, they played on Monday. Okay, yeah. So next Monday would be the new poll then. Okay. Yep.
Other on the Big Ten, Princeton beat Rutgers. Rutgers is just not going to be very good this year because they lost a lot. And Princeton made the Sweet 16 last year, so they're probably going to be a team that's going to be pretty good. Purdue was up 51-17 at half against Samford. They looked particularly impressive. Pretty much no one struggled other than that. I'm trying to find like a struggle game. Pretty much everyone beat their opponent pretty badly. I was impressed with USC. USC played Kansas State in a game everyone thought would be pretty close. Like, it was like a 50-50 on the projected to start. USC blew them out. USC blew them out badly. They beat them 82-69. I mean, Isaiah Collier, stud freshman, number 1 recruit in the country at 18. Boogie Ellis with 24. Johnson was 16. They were spreading the rock and looked really good on offense. That USC, I thought, looked really impressive. Anyone else? St. Mary's beat Stanialis State. They beat them 107-28. You didn't have to do a team with no logo that badly. You didn't have to do a team with no logo that badly.
Cal State Stanislaus.
Cal State Stanislaus. Shout out. They lost 107-28 to St. Mary's.
Nothing even pops up when you click on Cal State Stanislaus' logo.
They're
nothing
not
pops
even,
up. Like no hyperlink to more of their schedule or anything.
They're not in the system. They're just not. The Baylor Auburn.
It's pretty rough.
The Baylor Auburn game last night was a very good game. Back and forth, a lot of scoring. Auburn had a lead late, and then Baylor caught fire near the end. Like with 2 minutes left, Baylor went on like a 9-0 run. So I was particularly impressed with the way Baylor was able to close that game out. Jacoby Walter, 28 points, did the majority of the scoring, but, you know, they also had other guys contributing. So Baylor, team to watch out for. IU has to play Auburn. I was pretty impressed with the way Auburn played, too. Creighton put up 105 on Florida A&M. Creighton's a team that I'm really looking forward to watching. I actually have them in my national title game in the preseason bracketology. Ryan Kalkbrenner, Baylor Shireman, like, they're full of studs. On the docket tonight for college basketball, Florida Atlantic, my preseason #1 overall team, will go to Wintrust Arena to take on Loyola Chicago, who has been, you know, pretty mid. I mean, not even mid, pretty ass the last 2 kind of years. So we'll see what they have. Other around Division I, it's just a bunch of small schools playing tonight. So, yeah, no notable games today. I'm going to see if I can find any good games so we can maybe just make some quick picks. Not that we're going to, like, keep track of this. Michigan State's got a game this Thursday against Southern Indiana. Maybe they rebound. New Mexico, St. Mary's. New Mexico's the team people are saying can make a run in the tournament, or like a run at a tournament spot, because they barely missed out on the tournament last year. They get everyone back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a game to watch out for, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be interested to see how that one plays out. Friday, we got Duke against Arizona, and we got A&M at Ohio State. So what do we think for those 2 games? You can buy tickets for Duke, Arizona for as low as $410.
Jesus Christ.
See, everyone talks about how, I'm going to just rant really quickly. Everyone talks about how great of a stadium Cameron Indoor is. That stadium sucks. It seats like capacity, 9,300. So you got to pay an arm and a leg to even watch a game there. And it's small. I one thing I'll give it is, if you get in there, you're close to the court no matter what. But, like, do better. Like, UNC...
Do better.
Like, the Dean Smith Center seats twice that. Like, what are we doing? No one can even go to a Duke game unless you're, like, a donor or a student that camps out for, like, weeks. Like, it's just stupid. I think they do beat Arizona, just because I think Arizona's one of the most overrated teams coming into this year, because they have Caleb Love, and Caleb Love is not a good team player. So Arizona did look good against whoever they played. I forget who they played. They put up 100.
Morgan State.
They put up 122 on Morgan State, but then again, it's Morgan State. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Duke wins that. A&M at Ohio State. That's a game that I think could get pretty interesting. Because Ohio State's got a lot of people returning, but people are saying A&M's going to be a powerhouse. Ohio State gets it at home. I don't know. What do we think about this one? I'm tempted to take Ohio State because they're.
You think so?
I don't know.
I mean,
home crowd's gonna be rocking.
I guess. I mean,
maybe
they're able to scrape across a win against Oakland at home. So I mean,
yeah, they had a resounding 6-point win over Oakland.
Well, so did we.
Yes, we had a resounding 6-point win over Florida Gulf Coast.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd be more tempted to take A&M just because of the higher ranking and everything, But I mean, I don't know.
We'll see. That's definitely going to be a game that I watch on Peacock.
I know that was some stellar commentary right there, but
Saturday, do we have any notable games? Not really. Sunday, do we have any notable games? Not really.
I think it's just because they know it's early in the season and they know that it's like getting late into the football season, so it's like, okay.
Monday, we got Xavier at Purdue. Could be interesting. Purdue probably wins it. And then Tuesday, the day before our next show, we got Duke and Michigan State in the Champions Classic at the United Center in Chicago. If Michigan State plays the way that they did the other day, that's going to be a blowout. And also, actually, there's a ton of good games on Tuesday. Super Tuesday. Tuesday's always, I think, Tuesday and Saturday are always, so Saturday obviously is a great day for college basketball, but like Tuesdays always have good games. It's Super Tuesday on ESPN. So Duke, Michigan State. Does Michigan State rebound? Does Tom Izzo light a fire into that team's ass?
I mean, against Duke, that's going to be really tough. I mean, I think they will bounce back. Yeah, definitely. But against Duke, though, I don't know about.
Not enough to win the game.
I don't know if it'll be enough, though. So.
And then also in the Champions Classic is Kentucky and Kansas. I think Kansas wins that. Kansas is just, they're loaded. They're absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
I think they win that. Kentucky.
Like they are every year, though.
The Kentucky formula doesn't really work anymore.
You don't think so?
Get 3 highly rated freshmen and have them carry you. Like, you need veteran experience at this level of basketball.
You need depth.
And you need depth. This might be the best game out of all of them, though. Marquette, 5th ranked in the preseason, is at Illinois. An Illinois team that's also ranked 25. I think that's going to be a really good game.
That'll be a fun game to watch, yeah. I think so.
I think that's like a coin flip game, if you ask me.
It's just so hard to take the rankings so seriously, though. I mean, I know I was just talking about...
When it comes to college basketball, I'm very tempted to just be like, me pick home team.
Just because it does make a big difference when it comes to basketball. But, I mean, really, when it comes to the rankings themselves, I mean, it's kind of hard to really take it as seriously because, I mean, when it comes time for the tournament, you can be a number 1 seed losing to a 16 seed like Purdue was last year. Sorry. Didn't mean to name drop them or anything like that.
We'll see. That's what we got in terms of basketball before next show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about football. Do we have anyone after us?
We do, but I've extended our time a little bit, so you got time. You got time.
All right.
We got time.
Let's talk about football. Let's talk about what happened last week. What eventful happened last week? Let's see. Georgia took down Missouri. Sorry, Missouri. No SEC title appearance for you. They kept it close. 30-21. Sorry, Missouri. Like, you put up a good fight. You had a way better season than anyone expected you to, but looks like second in the East is what you're going to top out at. Sorry, you're just the latest victim of the Georgia machine. Don't take it too personally. Washington, USC in the No Defense Bowl. Holy cow, it was 35-28 at halftime. I mean, Washington did get the big win on the road, and I think that's something we really got to give them credit for. USC team looking for a win any way possible. Got the supposed best QB in the country. And Washington still found a way to win on the road, despite, I know USC's defense is dog shit. But still, though, Washington, I'll give them a lot of credit for winning on the road. Also good. So they did, for Washington, 0 points allowed in the fourth quarter. I know they allowed 14, 14, 14 in the previous 3 quarters. No points in the fourth quarter. So from a team that people have said has a dog shit defense, Washington, which, yeah, their defense isn't great. 0 points in the fourth quarter. They locked it up when it mattered.
Yeah.
They locked it up when it mattered. I think we should give them a lot of credit for that. They're I know we were shitting on them for their struggle wins. That was a really good win.
It was a really good win.
Really good win.
The one person I will say I do feel bad for is Caleb Williams, because he proved me wrong because I was going to say, like, he doesn't care, but he's going to give it his all for his resume for the draft. He clearly cared at the end of that game. He clearly cared. He was crying on the sidelines, and it really pissed me off for him that so many people were giving him shit about it.
Yeah,
about him
I'll say
crying.
that.
Because it's like it shows your quarterback cares. At least he, like, you had 2 losses, so you weren't making the playoff, but at least he cared.
Yeah.
You know, he still wanted to win for the fan base and everything, you know? So it's just infuriating to kind of see people making fun of him and everything. It's just like, okay, who cares, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I will say that. I will say, though, I still probably wouldn't draft him.
you wouldn't draft him?
I mean, super highly. Like, I wouldn't trade heaven and earth for Caleb Williams in the draft.
I would agree with. Okay, I thought you meant like you just wouldn't draft him at all or anything. I think he will still go very high in the draft
He'll
just
probably
because of the
still go
way
number
that
one. He'll
he
still go
has
number
been
one.
able to carry this team. Like, literally, he carried his team to 42 points alone on his back, and like the rest of that game, I mean, it's not in his hands; it's in the hands of the defense. And so it's like, what else can I do? You know, like I'm giving my team 42 points to win this game, but my defense isn't able to back me up or
Typical
anything. You know,
Lincoln Riley performance. No defense. Good quarterback that doesn't pan out in the NFL. Like Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. Baker Mayfield's actually not bad.
well, I was gonna say Baker Mayfield's making kind of making a little bit of a comeback this
I actually
year.
like
You know,
I
love Baker Mayfield.
I used to not like him because I'm like, oh, he's so cocky, and then
He gets so much shit,
What-
but
the
like,
thing is,
I love Baker
I like
Mayfield.
him. I like Baker Mayfield a lot.
Like my only reasoning is like such a stupid reason. It's just because of those progressive commercials he used to do when he was with the Browns, and they're the funniest things I've ever seen.
What really
Like
made
he's
me
not afraid to look stupid, and it's just really funny.
What really made me not like Baker Mayfield was like when he was at Oklahoma and he
Yeah.
was like talking all this shit to Georgia and, all
Yeah.
this, and then Georgia really made him pay for it. And then he's like, oh, rah, rah, rah. But like this is a guy that led the Browns to a playoff win.
Right.
Like
So,
this
I
guy's
mean-
got that dog in him. All right, enough about Baker Mayfield. Oregon won. They're keeping pace. It's looking like we're gonna get a rematch between Washington and Oregon for the Pac-12 title. Texas survives in OT against Kansas State, 33-30. They needed that. They can't have 2 losses. LSU Bama, 42-28 in favor of the Tide. So that was a game that's huge. They're now the clear, obvious front runner. Ole Miss in particular needed that game.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is, I think, really kicking their feet because now they got to hope that 2 teams beat Bama. And I think if Bama beats Kentucky here, that they clinch a spot. So Ole Miss really kicking their feet, but Bama, they're going to probably have a date with Georgia to decide who makes the playoff. Do we have anything other notable? Ohio State struggled with Rutgers for a little bit, but then figured it out. I know you would want to tee off on them. Louisville won. They are still alive for the ACC title. Penn State beat Maryland badly, 51-15. That was kind of a we just struggled against IU. Let's just take out some anger in this game.
Yeah, let's make sure we show everybody like who we are, you know.
So, Oregon State over Colorado. Colorado now has a losing record. Won't hear much from them the rest of the year. Tennessee, Utah win big. Arizona beats UCLA and is now ranked. Good job. Good job, Arizona. This has been a dog shit football program. They've been awful the last couple of years. 6-3 in a really hard conference, and they're ranked. Good job. And Air Force lost, which I was just really disappointed to see.
Yeah.
They ran into another team. They lost to Army, just another team that runs the option just like them. They've been doing it a little bit longer maybe, and 3-6 Army beats 8-0 Air Force. So I was pretty disappointed to see that. The Air Force had been getting disrespected in a lot of the polls. I was like, this is a team that has the #1 scoring defense in college football, and they laid an egg with a 23-3 loss.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for picks. I have the 26 games. There is someone after us, so we're gonna we're gonna go a little quickly.
We got. I'd say give us until 15 or 20.
Okay.
So we got time. We got time.
All right,
Because we got in here late because of someone else.
Thursday night game, Virginia at Louisville.
Give me Louisville. Oh, well, yeah. Let's review what
Last
we're
week
at right
we both went 18-8.
Okay, so you're still up by 1.
Yeah, 2.
Or 2.
I'm up by 2 games.
Okay.
179-61. Jackson's 177 and 63.
Okay.
Alabama at Kentucky. I mean,
I'm going with Alabama. I mean, Kentucky's been a weird team this year. They've been like an on again, off again, like really good team, but then they lost 3 in a row. And now
even if they're on again, they're not beating Bama.
Yeah,
I don't.
At this point, yeah, because Bama is making their statement known. Like, yeah, we lost early in the year, but we're making our way back.
This is the Bama revenge tour from last year. They already beat Tennessee and LSU.
I mean, it's hard to say the revenge tour when they already lost, you know. But
still,
at the same time, they're still
undefeated
in
the SEC. All right, Texas Tech at Kansas. Texas Tech has been.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Kansas at home.
Okay, I'm also going with Kansas.
Yeah, Texas
Tulane, Tulsa at Tulane. So I just realized this. James Madison, who's undefeated, can't make a bowl game because they're new to Division I and they have that waiting period.
Seriously?
Yeah, which is so stupid.
That's ridiculous. Are you kidding? In their first year, they're undefeated, but they can't make it to a bowl game?
Last year was their first year. They have like a 3-year waiting period where they can't qualify for a bowl.
That's ridiculous.
And
oh my God.
Fairleigh Dickinson, the team that beat Purdue, they actually didn't even win their conference. Merrimack won their conference, and they ran into the same thing.
God, that's infuriating.
The NCAA needs to change that rule. So Tulane is once again leading for the Group of 5 representation in that New Year's Six Bowl. I think they stomp Tulsa in this game.
Yeah, give me Tulane.
All right, IU at Illinois.
Like I said earlier, this is going to be the game that is the toughest one for this trilogy of games that IU is going to need to win in order to make a bowl game or to at least be bowl eligible, you know. But this is the toughest one. They're on the road. Illinois isn't great or anything, you know, but they've been able to put up quite a few points throughout the rest of the year. So I'm going to go with Illinois for this one. I don't think the Hoosiers are able to pull it off. And then it's officially the end of IU season.
You know what? I'm going to be different, and we're riding with Tom Allen and the boys.
Someone should.
Someone
should.
We go Hoosiers, baby. We're making that bowl. All right. Arizona.
I will eat my shoe if we make a bowl game this year. There we go.
Arizona at Colorado.
Wow. That's...
they are 1-5 in their last 6.
They're at home. Arizona isn't fantastic either, but I mean I think they're better than Colorado, so I might have to take Arizona.
I'm gonna agree. Colorado. I'm sorry. At this point in the year, I gotta say they're all hype. Like, I get.
Just now you're saying that?
The Colorado fans are gonna get mad at me because I've honestly look. I was rooting for Colorado to start the year. I'm like, oh, they're going to be a fun team coached by Deion Sanders. And then everyone has taken it way too far.
Yeah.
Like, at least earlier in the year. Like, the people that just are all over Colorado, it's just kind of getting annoying.
Yeah.
I kind of hope Arizona beats them. So, UConn at James Madison. James Madison might just go out. You know what James Madison should do? They should... If they go undefeated and no one in the national champion finishes with 1 loss or whatever, they should just claim a national title like UCF.
Literally, yeah. That's ridiculous that they can't be bowl eligible. That's honestly such a slap in the face to this program and all these players. That's insane. That's absurd.
Well, the one thing though is when UCF actually did that, they were the only undefeated team when it came to the playoff selection, and they didn't get in.
Yeah.
And then they went out and beat Auburn, and Auburn had beaten Bama earlier in the year, and Bama won the national title. So they actually had a legitimate claim, and everyone's like, oh, no, they don't. They're UCF. I'm like, Yeah, they do. They were the only team that went undefeated.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Bama did back in the day when there was no playoff. They could just claim a national title, like let UCF do the same thing. If James Madison, if Georgia loses a game but then wins the national title, James Madison, if they're the only undefeated team, claim a national title.
Yeah.
Do it.
Give me James Madison.
James Madison, I think, is going undefeated. Baylor, who I'm just sick and tired of seeing on this list because every week it's just win or lose, and I feel like I always pick them wrong. They lost to Houston by 1 in overtime, and Jackson had Houston and I had Baylor. So I'm taking Kansas State just because I can't deal with Baylor's shenanigans this week. I just don't want to.
Yeah, Baylor is not great right now. I'm definitely gonna go with Kansas
It's
State
like
as well.
every game we've done for Baylor, it's like it's like a 50-50 game.
Exactly, but then it's like, okay, one of us takes them, and then it just absolutely they just shit them.
They have a 1 point win, a 3 point win, a 1 point loss, like a 7 point loss. Like I don't know. They're just infuriating.
Yeah.
Big rivalry game and big game for playoff implications. Does Miami have a chance at Florida State? Two teams that hate each other. Big game.
A lot. It's a very big game. Miami is it's such a difficult call for them. They've got 3 losses. They lost to North Carolina, they lost to Georgia Tech, and they just lost to NC State 20-6. That's not a good way to go into this week.
You guys know my thoughts on Miami.
I mean,
they're 2-3 in conference play.
I think I'm gonna
Knowles by a million.
I'm still gonna go with Florida State, but it's gonna be a dogfight.
I think Florida State wins big. Miami's fraudulent.
Really?
They're fraudulent. Every year they're fraudulent.
I'm not saying that they're great or anything. You know, they have 3 losses and they lost to NC State.
I'm telling you, the mark that you're not a true contender is if you lose to Miami. You can't lose to Miami if you want to be a true contender. That's what Clemson figured out this year. Utah at Washington. Washington coming off a big win, and they got to come home to play a really good Utah team. This is almost one of the featured games I put at the end.
Yeah, this is going to be really good.
I really don't know. What I do like about Utah is the defense. Utah's defense is usually really, really good. But they did get thrashed by Oregon, and they got to play Washington at home or on the road. And Washington has one of the best home crowds. I'm gonna have a hard time picking against them. I'm gonna take Washington.
I might just for. Oh my God! Yeah, it's just so hard to
I had
go
my
against
doubt.
Washington because of the Oregon game for Utah. You know, I mean, it's just such a hard thing. I mean,
I had my doubts, but they found a way to beat USC.
they beat USC. Yep, they beat USC.
I was
At USC too. At USC.
I just feel like I gotta take Washington. They're 9.5 point favorites. I can't.
I think I'm gonna take Utah for this one.
All right.
I think they've gone back and forth when it comes to ranked opponents. You know, they've gone literally back and forth. They won against UCLA, they lost against Oregon State, they won against the USC, they lost against Oregon. I think that they can. I think they might be able to pull it off. I think it's going to be a sneaky good game. Not a sneaky good game, but I think this is going to be Washington's first loss.
You can make the argument that Oregon has played better than Washington since they played each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't have they're not going to be able to put Oregon ahead of Washington. Even if Washington loses a game, they're still going to have to keep Washington ahead. When it comes to the Pac-12 standings, which is something that people I think are really going to need to watch, I want to see the Pac-12 get into the playoff in their swan song of a season. Currently, Oregon's sitting at 5-1 in conference. USC sitting at 5-2, and USC and Oregon actually play. They're later on the list.
God, imagine how big this game would have been had USC stayed undefeated.
Yeah, man. Oh. All right, Tennessee at Missouri.
Tennessee and Missouri.
So Missouri, they're ranked 12th and 13th. These two teams are.
Yeah.
Tennessee can still. I know this is gonna. I'm delusional, but Tennessee could still win the East. If Tennessee wins and Georgia drops to Ole Miss, which also we're going to talk about, Georgia, Ole Miss.
Yep.
Tennessee, if they beat Georgia, they win the East. So they need this game to at least have that chance. It's on the road against Missouri. I think Tennessee's the better team. I'm going to take them.
I think with the home team advantage, it's going to be really tough for Tennessee. I mean, it's going to be tough for both teams. Missouri's coming off a loss to Georgia. They want to prove their spot. I'm going to take Missouri. So,
Okay, fair
give
enough.
me Mizzou.
Quickly, Oklahoma State, who beat Oklahoma. I was really glad to see that. Good for them to stick it to their rival as they leave their conference. I'm taking them over UCF.
Yeah.
Does UCF even have a conference win yet in their first season in the Big 12?
I don't know.
Weird. They do. They're 1-5. Who'd they beat? They beat Cincinnati last week. Does that even count? Cincinnati's awful. Rutgers at Iowa. Rutgers almost pulled it off against number 1 Ohio State. Would have been the biggest win in program history. But Ohio State did figure out how to play football in the second half. Iowa will win this game. Iowa will win this game probably 15-12. They beat Northwestern 10
You've got, who have you got win that one? Rutgers?
Iowa. I got Iowa beating Rutgers. Iowa beat Northwestern 10-7 in the 10th highest scoring game at Wrigley Field this year.
God.
Hey,
my roommate had a bet on this game. It was will the final score be over under 30 points?
Yeah, the over.
And he took the under and he won.
The
I think he won
over
$5.
The over under was 31 for this game. It was the lowest over under in the last 3 years, and I'm I bet you the under still hits.
It's a way to make the most boring game in the history of college football more interesting.
Yeah. Stanford at Oregon State. Oregon State's been quietly kind of hanging out there.
Wait, I don't think I picked that one.
Oh, for Rutgers, Iowa?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. Fuck. I wish I didn't even say anything. I'm gonna go with Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oregon State hanging out there with 2 losses, but they got a game against. They got to play Washington and Oregon, so a chance for them to eventually get up. They got Stanford this week. I think they easily take care of Stanford.
Oh yeah, definitely.
West Virginia at Oklahoma. Oklahoma just kind of vanished from the college football.
Literally, they were there and they were gone, like that.
And because of a loss to their biggest rival.
In their final game against them.
I'm almost inclined to take West Virginia.
I'm going to take Oklahoma for this one.
I feel like this is a bad game to differ on. 13 points. West Virginia's got some momentum. They've won 2 games in a row.
They do.
Let it ride. Go Nears. I'm taking West Virginia. I'm letting it ride. Oklahoma, I don't know how you rebound after 2 horrible losses like that.
Thanks for the win.
We'll see. Texas at TCU.
That was a slap in the face.
I know, that was a
slap in the face to West Virginia. They're a pretty good team this year.
I really hope they win now. Texas at TCU.
TCU is just nowhere near what they were last year,
I agree. I think Texas is going to win. I said this would be the only game Texas would lose in the preseason, but TCU just doesn't have it this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, give me Texas.
Texas is favored by 10 on the road. We'll see.
Not as many as I thought, but yeah, TCU.
LSU at Florida at LSU. Quickly, I'm going to take LSU. Florida lost to Arkansas last week.
Yeah, I'll do LSU.
All right, another quickly. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. I'm going to take A&M.
A&M, yeah.
Duke at UNC. I'm going to take... I actually don't even know who I'm going to take here. Duke has been very good. Duke has been kind to me when I've picked them. UNC is favored by 14.5, and they're at home.
Duke's been on a bad run, though, recently.
I'm going to take UNC.
Yeah, I'm going to take USC, too. Yeah.
All right, quickly, UCLA, Arizona State. Are you changing your mind?
No.
Arizona State at UCLA. I'm assuming we're both going with UCLA.
Yeah.
Okay. Iowa State at BYU. I don't know about this one. I'll take BYU just because they're at home.
I might do Iowa State.
To be different.
Yeah. I'll do Iowa State.
All right. Big game. Both these teams need this game. USC at Oregon. The winner of this game is in the driver's seat for a Pac-12 title game appearance. Because if USC wins, them and Oregon will both be 5-2 in conference, and USC would have the tiebreaker.
It's hard. It's not hard. It should be easy to go with Oregon, but at the same time, it's like I have a hard time feeling that Caleb Williams is going to allow. It sounds weird to say, but Caleb Williams is going to allow 4 losses in 5 weeks. You know,
I have a hard.
It's just that defense is so bad,
dude. Listen, I saw a stat. I've been saying this all semester. We're gonna go by the numbers on this USC defense. Other than their 2 cupcake games, San Jose State, Nevada.
Yeah.
Even then, they gave up. Stanford, they gave up 10. Since their first 3 games, their points allowed 28, 41, 41, 48, 34, 49, 42. Actually, 52.
Yeah, you just convinced me. I'm going to go with Oregon.
I don't see any way Oregon scores under 40.
Especially at home, too.
No way.
That was not a hard pick, actually.
There's no way they score under 40.
It just, like, Caleb Williams, he's proven that he cares. He proves that he's one of the best in college football, but at the same time, it's just defense. Like no defense at all.
Quickly, Air Force at Hawaii.
Oh, God.
Hawaii's not very good. I'm taking Air Force.
Yeah, give me Air Force then. Yeah.
All right. And then last regular game before the 2 big ones, UCLA at Arizona. Or no, that was last week. Shit, we got to find a game. I forgot to change the last game. All right.
Wyoming and UNLV?
Nah, I think that's too easy of a pick. Hold on.
There's
actually
NC State at Wake Forest.
Let's do Wyoming at UNLV. Where's that at on the list?
That's on Friday.
Okay. At 10:45.
Jesus.
Oh, this is a good game. This is a really good game. UNLV 7-2, Wyoming 6-3, UNLV 5.5 point favorites at home. I'll give you first pick. I know who I want.
I think I might go with UNLV. I mean, they're both kind of the same team, but I mean, yeah, just home field advantage.
Look at the great teams Michigan plays at a conference. They're going 7-2. I'm gonna take Wyoming. I like Wyoming a lot.
All right,
so I'm gonna take them. All right, 2 big games. First one, Ole Miss at Georgia. There's a conversation to be had if Ole Miss wins this game, because Ole Miss could win this game, finish 11-1, not get to play for an SEC title, but they got to win over Georgia at Sanford Stadium, and they are a 1-loss team.
Yeah.
If Ole Miss wins this game, they're gonna have a playoff. They're gonna be in the conversation, whether or not they make the SEC title or not. Do they get it done against Georgia?
In the past, when I've picked Ole Miss, they've gone against me, and they haven't been able to give me a win. It's tough. This is a good top 10 matchup.
See, Ole Miss has just been quietly under the radar doing some good. Yeah. But at the same time, 7-point win against Arkansas, 7-point win against Auburn, 3-point win against A&M.
Yeah.
Like, I get Georgia hasn't played anyone good. Like, that's all people have been talking about with why they're number 2. I just have a hard time seeing Ole Miss winning this game. I just have a hard time seeing it.
I think I'm going to do Georgia.
I think it would be cool if Ole Miss won, because this is a team that has never made an SEC title. But give me the Dogs.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the big game this week. Is this a noon game?
It's a noon kickoff.
I hate that this is a noon game.
Yeah.
Why are all the good Big Ten games at the end of the season all noon kickoffs? Penn State, home against Michigan. The FPI has it 50.9% in favor of the Nittany Lions. The spread is Michigan 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a great game, and it's Michigan's first real big test this year because they haven't played anyone good, and that's just a fact. You know I'm right, but we'll see. I don't know. I really don't know, because Penn State, here's the thing. People gave them a lot of shit for not showing up against Ohio State. They lost by 8 on the road. So are they even like that? Like, I don't know what to think of that.
It could have been way worse for them.
Yeah.
Could have been way worse.
I
am so glad that this week is finally here, because I know Michigan hasn't had the best schedule this year. I know they haven't had good competition. I know. That's all I've been saying for the past 11 weeks now. I know. Michigan has not had the best schedule, and finally, after this weekend, regardless if they win or lose, nobody can say, strength of schedule, strength of schedule. Can't say it anymore after this weekend, and I'm so ready for that argument to be done. Like, it's not the fact that people say, like, oh yeah, Michigan hasn't had a good schedule this year. Like, if they just say it, then like, yeah, it's a fact. That is a fact. But it's the fact that people are using that argument to show that why they're not good. It's like Michigan's not good because they're sign stealing. They have no good. Their strength of schedule is just terrible. It's like, have you looked at our scores the past few weeks? Like,
against
taking care of business
against cupcakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams throughout the year that even struggle against cupcakes.
I know.
The fact that Michigan is just absolutely flooring these teams every single week shows, hey, we got a talented roster out there. So that's my rant for this week.
So you're obviously taking Michigan.
I'm going to take Michigan. Yep. That's not to say Penn State is not good. Penn State, like I've been saying in this entire rant, is a really, really good team this year. It's going to be very tough, but I think Michigan can pull it off on the road.
So James Franklin is on the verge of becoming the new Harbaugh, as in can't beat a top 5 team or like a good team. I know Harbaugh ended up beating Ohio State those 2 years because he cheated. But listen to these Penn State defensive numbers, though. Listen to these points allowed.
They've got a really good defense.
Listen to these points allowed numbers: 15, 7, 13, 0, 13, 0, 20, 24, 15. IU has scored the most points against Penn State than any other team.
Which is weird.
Which is 24. The defense has looked great. Offense, I don't know if Drew Aller is that guy or not. I just don't know if he is.
I mean, yeah, Penn State's defense is very, very good. They're very good. So that's the biggest thing that I'm looking for is like, if we can't beat them on the ground, because they're also a run team. They both like to run. So it's really just going to be about if they can't run for either team, who can beat them in the air. So.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know how well Michigan's going to do against a top-rated team. Because to be fair.
By the way, real quick, 3, 7, 6, 7, 7, 10, 7, 0, 13. That's Michigan's.
For Michigan's?
Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. We're also good. So,
like I said, this game could end like, if this game ends like 20-17, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I just have no confidence Drew Aller can go out there and I want to differ just because Penn State's at home. I can't do it. I think Michigan's gonna win just because I don't have any confidence that Penn State's offense can like go out there and win them a game. I just don't think they can do it.
As much as I would hate it if Michigan lost this weekend, I will say it would be very entertaining to see this happen. And if Michigan can pull off a win against Ohio State, I would love to see a 3-way shootout between them, between the top 3 teams. That would be cool to see.
So. All right, we gotta go. See you later.